Hey guys, this is Sergey Savenko, aka 900 Swine, doing the first of the series of vlogs or development diaries on the game I'm currently working on called Sergey Savenko's Ocean, an indie first-person shooter powered by the GZ Doom engine, done in an old-school sort of like anime-esque style, and inspired by such game franchises like Doom, Marathon, System Shock, Bioshock, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Metal Gear Solid. What I've decided to do is to chronicle like the whole, not really the whole, but the active development process that is going on right now, since recently I have moved from concept arts and resources preparation to the actual development, to the actual game making, and the first glimpse of the actual game footage is pretty much what this video is dedicated to. But first I have to first I'll have to address a couple of things. Let's go real quick through my game developer biography. I've got interested in game development since I was a kid, and I've discovered the level editor for Duke Nukem 3D in the among the distribution files. So that's basically how I became obsessed, and that's basically the first engine I've ever worked with. I cannot remember doing anything valuable with it, but that's when the idea of my first game project have emerged. It was supposed to be a first-person shooter based on Frank Herbert's Dune. It was going to be called Dune House Orders. Yes, the House Orders. I remember writing the design document. I think it's still around somewhere. I might find it. It may contain some interesting ideas that I will be able to recycle into the current project. Anyway, it got abandoned because of the very obvious reason I was just not experienced enough. Let's say I knew the theory, but it was the practice that failed me. And then during the next several years I can't really remember doing anything creative in the game development department. Just sort of consuming game after game. When I guess around 2 or 3 years ago, I have started working on something called, I'm just not sure what to call it, whether it was a demo or, I guess working on a little technological demo called Project Savior. It was meant to be a game, but it got abandoned due to several reasons, like ambition over abilities, mediocre feedback, stuff like this. However, that's when I have discovered the Z-Doom engine and started experimenting with it. Basically, it was just a big training exercise, which I do not regret. This demo is still available at ModTV. I'm not ashamed of it at all because it was a great experience learning the scripting, the resources management, etc. But anyway, it got scrapped. The next project was Sergey Savenko's Megiddo. It was supposed to be a third-person shooter with based on the Bible, no less. I jokingly call it the first Christian shooter game that won't suck. However, I am aware that there are a couple of decent Christian first-person shooters like Eternal War and Requiem. Both games are very solid and good for old-school fun. Check them out. Anyway, for Megiddo I started using the Dark Places engine, which is a heavily modified version of the Quake 1 engine. Everything was going smoothly at the time. However, I have ran into several roadblocks again. Like, for example, I have absolutely no skill and no experience in 3D models. And it was like pretty much necessary requirement for this engine, because there is a way to use sprites, like, so it will have this old school look like Doom, but I could not figure it out. So it was like the first reason why Megiddo was scrapped. The second reason was that another game with a very similar premise had been released for Android and iOS around the time I lost my interest. The game is called Epoch, I guess, or I think, and the problem was that okay, it's not a bad game, I don't have anything against it, I don't hate it. However, it had the same exact story, or at least the same exact premise, minus the Christian references, so I didn't want a rip-off reputation, so Megiddo was dropped. And a bit later came along my current project, Ocean. It's a very fresh and new concept. It's, on one hand, it's back to basics, because it's like classic first-person shooter. At the same time, it okay, I won't say it will, but I want it to feature a very memorable and sometimes deep plot and storyline. It's something very personal for me. There will be a lot of things I personally believe in, like scattered through the storyline. Okay, so yeah, this is what I'm working on right now, and this is what I'm going to show you. However, before that, I want to give a shout out to some of my friends from DeviantArt. Well, for the full list of the people associated with the project, I am not working on it alone. For the full list, you may see the link in the video's description, but I want to give several shoutouts like this just on camera. So, first of all, I would like to thank Rebecca and Hel, two wonderful ladies whom I like to call my muses. I would like to thank them for their support, their love, their assistance, their will to promote my project, all while it's completely free, because the game will be freeware, or maybe it will be like free at all, and I will permit the usage of resources, we'll see. So girls, you are the best. My life is incomplete without you both, and I love you both very, very, very much. And also I would like to thank two gentlemen. One is, I'm not sure if I'll be able to pronounce your username correctly, but on DeviantArt you also have a name, Dirty Henry. My virtual bro, I would like to give you like a bro fist, and thank you for, again, your willingness to promote my game free of charge. I appreciate it big time. And last but not the least is Snowy Aegis or Aegis. I'm not sure if I pronounce your name correctly. Your username, my apologies, but I would like to thank you as well for your assistance with designs, concept arts, for the brainstorms we have, which like help us exchange ideas for our projects, because For those who are not aware, Snowy is working on his own FPS as well, called Adrift. So my shout out to you, man. Keep on going. And all the rest of my wonderful supporters and assistants, they will be listed in the credits, including Andrew Siga, aka Necros, my all-time favorite composer of all time. I know this sounds redundant, but that's how much I love his creations. You might have heard his tracks in such games as Crusader No Remorse, Unreal, Crusader No Regret, Unreal Tournament, and some of the others. Actually, right now it's his track playing in the background called The Traveler. Okay, and with all that said, oh yes, some technical stuff about the video before we proceed. First, please excuse the jerky quality and jerky frame rate, as well as the absence of sound. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a decent enough application to record everything. And besides, I'm not having the most powerful PC in the world. I will try to jerk with the video speed to hopefully make it, well, if not smooth, then at least comprehensible, but no guarantee, so I apologize for that in advance. And the second thing I need to address is a health warning. I am aware that at least one person who unfortunately experiences motion sickness would see this video, and I just want to say that I do not want you know who I'm talking about, and this applies to everyone who has motion sickness. I do not want to harm people with my videos, so if you physically cannot stand watching first-person games footage, please stop the video during the beat